Every second you waste is a second you never get back. That's not a warning, that's reality. Right now, your time is either building your future or silently letting it slip away. Most people think they have plenty of time. They don't. Time isn't waiting, and if you don't use it, you lose it. Without warning, without pause. The truth is, your time is your life. How you use it decides how far you go, how much you grow, and who you become. If you've been stuck in cycles of delay, distractions, or excuses, this is your moment to break free. This audiobook isn't just advice, it's a push, a mirror, a system. You'll learn how to stop wasting your life and start living it with urgency, focus, and action. The goal isn't to rush, it's to wake up. Because you don't get to repeat today, so use every second like it matters, because it does. Every second counts. Use it or lose it. Chapter 1. Get out of bed and take charge of today. You want your life to mean something, you want to move forward and build the life you've been thinking about, then it all begins with one decision. Get out of bed and take charge of today. That's where it starts, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready, today. Because today is the only thing you've actually got. Everything else is imagination or memory. When that alarm goes off and your eyes open, you're standing at a crossroads. You have two choices. Stay in bed, hit the snooze button, drift back into comfort, and watch your life stay exactly the same. Or pull yourself out of bed, put your feet on the floor, and step into action. No matter how tired you feel, no matter how unmotivated you are, that moment, right there, is your first victory of the day. See, how you start your day shapes how you live your day, and how you live your day, repeated over time, shapes your entire life. People talk about changing their lives, but they overlook the small things. They ignore the moments that seem too ordinary. But those small decisions, they build who you are. You either lead the day, or the day leads you. And most people, they don't even realize how much power they're giving up when they stay in bed an extra hour, scroll their phone, or wait to feel good before they act. Getting up early is not just about being productive. It's about building the discipline to do what you said you would do. It's about proving to yourself that you can win the first battle of the day. When you start strong, you carry that strength into everything else you do. When you get up with purpose, you carry that purpose into your work, your relationships, your thinking, your energy. Most people are losing their mornings and they don't even know it. They wake up reacting. They wake up with no direction. They open their phone before they've even thought about what they want from the day. And then they wonder why they feel behind. They wonder why the day slips away so fast. It's not a mystery. It's a pattern. And it's costing them their future. The truth is, the most successful people in the world take the beginning of their day seriously. They don't leave it to chance. They don't wait to see how they feel. They don't start with distractions. They start with intention. They start by choosing to rise, choosing to face the day on their own terms. That one act, getting out of bed early and on purpose, sets the tone for a day they're proud of. And it's not about being perfect, it's about showing up. Some mornings will be hard. Some mornings you won't feel like doing anything. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline cares what you do. And when you train yourself to act even when it's hard, you build a kind of strength most people never experience. You build a trust in yourself. You start becoming the kind of person who follows through. When you get out of bed with purpose, you feel different. There's a sense of clarity. You're no longer running from behind. You're not chasing the day, you're directing it. You get time to think. You get time to plan, you get time to move your life forward before the world starts pulling at you. And don't mistake this for some extreme lifestyle. This isn't about waking up at 4 a.m. or pushing yourself to exhaustion. This is about owning your life. This is about deciding that your time matters enough to use it wisely. This is about choosing to take your life seriously, starting with how you begin the day. You want confidence? Get up and keep promises to yourself. You want focus? Start the day without distraction. You want to succeed? Win the first hour of the day and keep stacking those wins. You'll notice that you feel sharper. You'll notice that your decisions improve. You'll notice that your energy doesn't get wasted on useless things. And if you've been struggling, if you've been lost in your own routine, if you've been watching days go by without anything changing, start here. Get out of bed early. Not just once. Every day. Build the habit. At first, it'll be hard. You'll fight it. Your mind will try to talk you out of it. But push through that resistance. Because what's on the other side is worth it. When you take the first hour of your day and make it yours, everything shifts. You stop surviving and start creating. You stop being a passenger and become the driver. That shift in identity, that shift in self-respect, it changes your entire direction. It makes you stronger. It makes you more focused. And it teaches you something powerful. That your life is under your control. And understand this, time is not waiting for you. Every day you delay is a day you don't get back. Life doesn't pause while you sleep in. It keeps moving, and every second you waste adds up. But the good news is, every second you use wisely builds momentum. Every day you wake up and take control, you move closer to the life you've been dreaming about. But dreams don't work if you don't. And the work begins when your day begins. So take that seriously. Treat that moment with respect. Because your time is your life. And how you use your mornings says everything about how you value your future. So when the alarm goes off tomorrow, make a choice. Not just a small one, but a real one, a life-changing one. Get up, get dressed, get moving. You don't need to have the perfect plan. You don't need to feel super motivated. You just need to move. Action creates energy, and once you start, everything starts shifting. You've got the power to change. It's not locked in some big decision. It's in the small act of getting up and showing up. You've got the power to change. It's not locked in some big decision. It's in the small act of getting up and showing up. That's how it begins. That's how you take charge of your life. So stop waiting for permission. Stop hoping for better days to show up. You are the one who brings better days into reality. And it all starts when you take back your time, starting with the moment you wake up. Get out of bed and take charge of today. Because every second counts. Use it or lose it. Chapter 2. Remove dead routines and build better daily habits. Most people live each day on repeat without realizing it. They wake up, go through the same actions, follow the same routines, and expect a different outcome. But nothing changes because they've built their days around habits that no longer help them grow. The truth is, if your routine is not building you, it's breaking you. If you want to build a better life, you've got to take a good, honest look at how you're spending your days. That means removing what's no longer serving you and replacing it with something stronger. A dead routine is anything you keep doing that adds no real value to your life. It might be checking your phone the moment you wake up, It might be wasting your evenings in front of a screen with no purpose. It might be filling your mornings with rush and chaos instead of structure and calm. The problem isn't that people are lazy. It's that they've allowed old habits to stay alive long after they've lost their purpose. The mind adapts to whatever you feed it. If you feed it comfort, avoidance, and noise, that becomes your normal. And once something becomes normal, we stop questioning it. But progress begins the moment you start questioning your patterns. Why am I doing this every day? Is this helping me get where I want to go? Does this habit bring any value to my growth, my peace, my goals? Most people never stop to ask. They just follow what they've always done. And that's how months turn into years and life starts to feel stuck. You're not stuck because you lack motivation. You're stuck because your habits are keeping you in the same loop. If you want to get out of that loop, you have to clean up your routine. It won't happen by accident. You need to sit down and get real with yourself. Make a list. What are the things you do every day? What takes up your first hour? What are you doing at night before you sleep? Be brutally honest. Don't sugarcoat it. This is your life. These daily patterns are shaping your future, whether you notice it or not. Once you see the routine clearly, you can start cutting the dead weight. It might feel uncomfortable at first. It might feel strange to stop doing something you've always done. But growth lives on the other side of discomfort. If it feels too easy, it's probably not changing you. You need to challenge your normal. You need to be willing to throw out routines that have become a habit only because they're familiar, not because they're useful. And this doesn't mean throwing your life into chaos. It means making clear, intentional shifts. You don't need to change everything in one day. Start small. Replace one useless habit with one useful one. If you usually wake up and grab your phone, try sitting up and reviewing your goals instead. If your evenings are wasted on scrolling, try using that time to plan your next day, reflect on your actions, or read something that sharpens your thinking. Over time, these changes add up. Your life is built in the quiet hours when no one's watching. What you do in those moments is who you become. Better habits are not just about being more productive. They're about taking back control. They're about choosing how you live instead of drifting through it. Every time you replace a weak habit with a strong one, you make a silent statement. I take my life seriously. I'm not here to waste time. I'm here to grow. And this isn't just about what you do. It's about how you do it. Are you present or are you rushing? Are you doing something because you truly value it or because it's what you've always done? Routines are powerful when they are driven by purpose, but they're dangerous when they become automatic without awareness. You must bring attention back to your days. There's also emotional resistance to change. Some people hold on to dead routines because they're safe. Even if they're not helpful, they're familiar. The brain likes predictability. It resists change, even when change is what you need most. So you'll feel discomfort. You'll feel the pull to go back to the old way. That's not a sign to quit. That's a sign you're doing the right thing. You're interrupting the pattern. You're creating space for something better. Look around at the people who are truly growing in life. They didn't get there by chance. They built systems. They crafted routines that gave them structure, clarity, and discipline. They didn't wait until they felt like it. They committed, they showed up, they stayed consistent, and over time those small habits turned into big results. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting the time you already have. Even 10 minutes can be powerful when it's used with intention. You can use it to journal, to learn, to prepare, to reflect, or you can throw it away mindlessly. That's the difference between a strong habit and a dead routine. One builds, the other drains. Some people don't even realize how tired their routine has made them. They feel heavy, frustrated, disconnected, and they think something's wrong with them, but it's not them. It's the system they've been living in. It's the endless loop of doing the same things that no longer feel meaningful. You have to break that loop if you want to feel alive again. You have to inject your days with purpose. Ask yourself, what does a strong day look like for me? What habits would make me proud if I repeated them daily? Then reverse engineer that life. Build your days around those actions. Protect those routines. Let them shape your schedule, not just occasionally, but consistently. And no, it won't feel amazing every time. There will be days when the new habits feel like work. There will be mornings when the old routine tries to pull you back, but you must hold the line. Because every time you repeat a good habit, you make it stronger. Every time you return to a dead routine, you give it life again. Discipline is not about being harsh, it's about being loyal to your growth. Loyalty to your growth means removing what harms it. That might mean cutting out late nights that leave you drained. That might mean walking away from people who keep you distracted. That might mean adjusting your schedule so you stop racing against the clock and start living with direction. Your life doesn't get better by accident. It gets better by design. And the most powerful design starts with your daily habits. If you want to lead a life that matters, your actions must match your intentions. Your calendar should reflect your values. Your routines should align with the person you say you want to become. Don't just talk about change, structure it, build it into your hours. Make it non-negotiable, because no breakthrough happens without consistency, and no consistency happens without structure. You have to stop acting like your days are endless. They are not. Time is moving, you are moving, and if you don't change what you do daily, your life will stay the same. That's not negativity. That's reality. The beauty is, you can choose again. You can throw out the parts of your routine that no longer serve you. You can replace them with something powerful, something clean, something that honors your future. You are not stuck. You are simply following a pattern. Change the pattern, and you change your results. But don't wait until you feel ready. You'll wait forever. Start now. Build the habits that shape your mind, protect your time, and feed your purpose. You owe that to yourself. Today is your chance to reset, to stop giving your time away to routines that keep you average. Today is your chance to take ownership of your habits and reshape the way you live. The time is now, not next week, not after another failure, right now. Start where you are. Look at your routine. Break what's broken. Build what's missing. Because every second counts. Use it or lose it.
Chapter 3. Act fast before your chances quietly disappear forever. Every day, opportunities pass by people who never reach for them. Not because they aren't smart, not because they're not capable, but because they hesitate. They think they have time. They think the moment will come back. They think waiting is safe. But the truth is, chances rarely come knocking twice, and when they do, they're not always as open or clear as the first time. The more you delay, the more life moves forward without you. The window to act isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it comes disguised as discomfort, risk, or fear. But deep down, you know when something is calling you. You feel it in your gut. And when you ignore it, when you push it off, that silence inside you grows louder. You begin to lose faith in yourself, little by little. Not because of what you couldn't do, but because of what you didn't even try. Time moves fast, and it doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't slow down to match your feelings. You don't get rewarded for intending to take action. You don't get growth from thinking about what you could do. Only action brings change. Only movement creates progress. People say they're waiting for the right time, but time is never going to be perfect. It's never going to feel completely safe. And while you're waiting for ideal conditions, someone else is moving forward, scared, unsure, but moving anyway. If you keep telling yourself, "I'll do it later," later turns into never. You won't notice the shift at first. Days pass, you feel a little disconnected, then weeks pass, and your motivation fades. Then months go by, and you start to accept where you are, even if it's not where you want to be. That's how chances disappear. Not in one big moment, but in quiet delays, in small decisions to do nothing, in repeated thoughts that say, "I'll start tomorrow." Acting fast doesn't mean rushing without thinking. It means recognizing when the moment is here and having the courage to step into it. It means making decisions based on what matters most, not what's comfortable. When something matters to you, you don't need every detail to be in place. You just need to begin. You need to take the first real step, even if it's small, even if it's uncertain. That step is what separates those who move forward from those who stay stuck in thought. Every missed opportunity leaves behind something. It leaves regret. It leaves wondering. It leaves a version of you that could have existed, but didn't. And those missed versions of yourself start to weigh on your mind. You begin to feel distant from your own potential. You start doubting what's possible. Not because it's truly out of reach, but because you never reached for it when you had the chance. You don't need to have it all figured out to act. Most of the time, clarity comes after movement, not before. You grow into the process. You learn by doing, but you have to start. Thinking without action builds frustration. Action, even small action, builds momentum. And momentum is what helps you break through resistance. When you look back at your life years from now, you won't remember all the reasons you gave for waiting. You'll remember what you did. You'll remember where you took a risk and where you played it safe. You'll remember the chances you created because you moved, and the ones you lost because you froze. The hardest truth is this: most people don't miss their big break because they weren't good enough. They miss it because they waited too long. There is no perfect time to start building a better life. The idea that you need more time, more planning, more certainty, it's an illusion. The only way to grow is to act before you feel ready. Action is the teacher. Movement brings the answers. You don't need to see the whole road. You need to take the first step. And that step must be taken now. Not later. Not when things settle. Not when fear fades. Because chances don't wait for your fear to leave. When you act fast, you show yourself that you take your life seriously. You build self-trust. You prove to yourself that you are someone who shows up, not just in talk, but in behavior. That trust is priceless. It gives you the inner strength to move again and again. It removes the habit of overthinking. It creates a pattern of progress. Every goal, every achievement, every breakthrough, you can trace it back to a moment when someone chose to act, not talk, not wait, act. And it usually came at a time when they didn't have all the answers. That's what separates people who move forward from people who stay where they are. The ability to act while still feeling unsure. You'll never feel completely ready. You'll always feel a little afraid. But fear is not the problem. The problem is letting it decide your actions. The problem is putting off what matters because you don't feel like doing it today. Every time you give in to delay, it becomes easier to delay again. And suddenly, you wake up in a life you didn't want, built by all the moments you hesitated. Some people wait for a sign. They want life to give them certainty. But life doesn't work like that. It gives you nudges, it gives you moments, it gives you options, and then it watches what you do with them. If you ignore them long enough, they stop coming. Not because you don't deserve them, but because you stopped responding. You've got to be faster than your excuses. You've got to beat your doubts to the punch. You've got to move while others are still wondering. That's how change happens. You move before you're completely confident. You speak up before you're completely ready. You build something while others are still waiting for inspiration. That speed, that inner urgency, it changes your path. This is not about rushing through life. It's about understanding the cost of delay. Every minute you spend stuck in maybe is a minute you could use to build something real. Every day you spend wondering what could happen is a day you could use to make it happen. You don't need 10 hours of effort. Sometimes 10 minutes of real action is enough to shift your entire momentum. But those 10 minutes have to be now, not someday. The world isn't waiting. Opportunities aren't waiting. Life is moving with or without you. You've got to choose to move with it. You've got to choose to act, even when your mind is filled with reasons to stay still. You don't need to feel inspired to begin. You need to begin to feel inspired. People say they missed their chance, but in most cases they didn't miss it. They ignored it. They underestimated how important it was. They thought they had more time. That's the trap. Thinking tomorrow will look just like today. But it won't. Circumstances change, people change, you change. And if you don't act when the door is open, you might not find it again in the same way. So you must develop the habit of immediate action. Not reckless, but intentional. If something aligns with your growth, do it. If something pushes you forward, take it seriously. Stop brushing off the things that could change your life. Stop convincing yourself that later is safer. Later is not safer. Later is slower. Later is crowded with regret. Build the discipline to act when others hesitate. Train yourself to move forward when your mind wants to hold back. That discipline doesn't come naturally. It comes from making decisions when it's hard, from choosing progress over perfection, from choosing now over someday. You've got a life to build, and you don't get extra time for waiting. You don't get credit for intentions. You only get results from action. So if something inside you has been pulling you toward change, listen to it, move on it, follow it. Don't overthink it to death. Don't plan it into the ground. Do something about it today. The most powerful shift you can make is this. When you know what to do, do it. Not later. Now. Because action taken now creates a future you can be proud of. Delay only leads to wondering what could have been. This moment is yours. This chance is in front of you. And what you do with it decides what happens next. You won't always get a second shot, so don't wait for it. Move now. Act fast before your chances quietly disappear forever, because every second counts. Use it, or lose.
Chapter 4. Use small pockets of time to build yourself. Most people think they need big chunks of time to make progress. They believe they have to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect schedule, the perfect day with no interruptions. So they sit around waiting. They keep telling themselves that once life slows down, then they'll start building something better. But life rarely slows down. Life keeps going. And the people who grow aren't the ones with the most free time. They're the ones who know how to use the small pieces of time they already have. Look around your day. There are moments you're not using. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Time spent scrolling, time spent waiting,
Time spent doing things on autopilot. Those pockets of time, if used right, can build your mindset, build your skills, and build your future. But most people throw them away without even thinking. They waste hours without realizing how powerful even a few minutes can be when they're focused and consistent. You don't need an entire morning to improve your life. You need to use the quiet space between tasks. You need to grab those short breaks and put them to work. Think about how often you check your phone just to pass time. That could have been time to stretch your body, to breathe, to read one page of something that feeds your mind. Think about how often you wait in line or sit in silence. That could have been time to reflect, to write down a goal, to listen to a few minutes of something that lifts you up. These are not huge actions, but done daily, they change you. Not all at once, but over time. Small efforts stacked up lead to results most people never reach, because they're waiting for ideal conditions that never come. People overestimate what they can do in one day and underestimate what they can do in 10 minutes, repeated every day. A small amount of time with full focus beats a full day of distraction. It's not about the length of time, it's about what you do with it. Those who learn to work with time instead of waiting for it are the ones who grow fastest. Not because they're gifted, because they're aware, because they choose to show up even when the clock is tight. Using small pockets of time requires intention. You have to plan for it. You have to see your day differently. Instead of thinking, I don't have time, you start asking, where am I letting time slip? This shift in thinking puts you in control. It moves you from being reactive to being deliberate. Suddenly, a 5-minute break becomes a chance to breathe, think and reset. A walk becomes a moment to listen to something that sharpens your thinking. A ride in the car becomes a space to reflect on what matters to you. You start living with awareness. You stop waiting for big breakthroughs and start building small ones every day. And the best part is, you begin to feel momentum, because you're no longer sitting around hoping for change. You're participating in it. You're shaping your life with the time you have, not the time you wish you had. That's where confidence comes from. Not from having more, but from using what you already have wisely. You might not be able to change your whole routine overnight, but you can change how you use the gaps in between. That's where your power is. Everyone has these gaps. Not everyone sees them. And even fewer people use them. You don't need more time. You need to respect the time that's already in your hands. Time is neutral. What you put into it is what you get out of it. One of the most powerful things you can do is create a short list of habits that take less than 10 minutes. Something you can do anytime, anywhere. Read one page, write one idea, review your goals, send that message you've been avoiding, take deep breaths, and calm your mind. These are small things, but they build trust, they build momentum, and they build the kind of discipline that changes your life. The way you use small moments says a lot about how seriously you take your growth. If you use them to numb yourself, avoid effort or escape your thoughts, your life reflects that. If you use them to sharpen your thinking, to stay focused, to do one more thing that gets you closer to your goals, your life reflects that too. You don't need to work harder. You need to work smarter with the time you keep ignoring. There's a truth that people avoid. Most wasted time doesn't feel wasted. It feels harmless. It feels normal. That's why it's so dangerous. You don't notice, you don't realize that the same 5-minute distraction, repeated 5 times a day, is stealing 25 minutes from you. That adds up. Over a week, that's hours. Over a year, that's days. Time is lost in small pieces, and success is built in small pieces too. The difference is how you use them. You can't control every hour of your day. Life is unpredictable, but you can control how you respond to the small gaps. You can choose to make them count. You can choose to stop giving them away to things that don't build you. You can use them to recover, to grow, to move with purpose. That's how high performers think. They don't let life decide how they use time. They decide. This isn't about being busy all the time. This is about being awake to the time that's available to you. Being intentional doesn't mean doing more. It means doing what matters. It means recognizing that even a few minutes can move your life forward if you know how to use them. Start today. Look for the time that's already there. Write during your lunch break. Stretch your body while listening to something powerful. Learn one new thing instead of scrolling through what you already know. You'll start to notice something change inside you. Not just in your schedule, but in how you feel. You'll feel more in control. You'll feel less scattered. You'll feel like your days actually belong to you. And don't expect it to feel perfect. You might get distracted. You might forget. That's okay. What matters is that you keep trying. What matters is that you keep bringing your attention back to what matters. That repetition trains your brain to look for opportunity. It rewires how you move through the day. And eventually, using small time becomes who you are, not just something you try. There are people out there right now who are using the same amount of time you have to build something incredible. They're writing books 1 page at a time. They're learning skills 10 minutes at a time. They're building businesses 1 task at a time, not because they have more time, but because they stopped waiting and started using what they had. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need presence. You need intention. You need to stop thinking that small time equals small results. Consistent small actions beat random big ones every time. Those who win in the long run aren't the ones who start big and stop. They're the ones who start small and never quit. You have more time than you think, but you'll only see it if you choose to look for it. You'll only use it if you believe it matters. Every moment is a chance to build yourself, not just survive the day. Don't treat small time like it's worthless. Treat it like it's the key to something greater, because it is. Your life is not shaped by what you do once in a while. It's shaped by what you do daily, especially in the time that feels too short to matter. That time matters more than you know. Use it. Build with it. Respect it, because every second counts. Use it or lose it.
Chapter 5. Stop waiting and start doing what you avoid. One of the hardest things in life is facing the things you keep pushing aside. You know exactly what it is. It's that task you keep moving to tomorrow's list. It's that decision you've been thinking about for months but still haven't made. It's that conversation you need to have, the action you need to take, the step you need to begin. You avoid it, not because you don't care, but because it makes you uncomfortable. You avoid it because doing it means facing yourself, and that's what most people run from. But the truth is this: the longer you wait, the heavier it gets. The more you delay, the more power it takes from you. What starts as a small task becomes a mental burden. You carry it into your mornings, your evenings, and even your sleep. It drains your energy quietly, and it stays with you because it matters. You don't carry what's meaningless. You carry what you know deep down needs your attention. You can read books, listen to talks, write plans, but none of it means anything if you're not doing what you keep avoiding. That's the block. That's the wall standing between you and your next level. And it doesn't come down by thinking. It comes down by acting. You already know what needs to be done. The question is, when are you going to stop waiting? People think waiting keeps them safe. They believe avoiding something hard will somehow protect their peace. But peace doesn't come from delay. Peace comes from action, from doing what you said you would do, from facing what you've been hiding from. Waiting builds tension. Doing releases it. Every time you take action on something you've been avoiding, you feel lighter.
You gain clarity. You grow stronger. But you only feel that when you move. Start paying attention to your excuses. Start noticing how often your brain tries to convince you to push it off one more day. Not now. I'm tired. It's not the right time. These are not facts. These are habits. Habits of avoidance. Habits of fear. And those habits are shaping your life whether you like it or not. If you want real change, you have to break the pattern. Start small if you need to. You don't need to do everything at once, but you do need to start. Pick one thing, the one you've been thinking about the most, the one that makes your chest feel tight when you think about it. That's the one. Do it now. Don't negotiate with yourself. Don't ask for permission. Don't wait for the mood to be right. The mood will never be right. Action creates the mood, not the other way around. Most of the fear you feel is not about the task, it's about the build-up, the mental movie you've been playing over and over again. You imagine all the ways it could go wrong. You create pressure. You create stress. And that imagined pain becomes worse than the action itself. Once you actually do it, you often wonder why you waited so long. That's the trap of avoidance. It distorts your thinking. It turns a small step into a massive obstacle. You gain power by doing the uncomfortable thing first, by facing the task that's been sitting in the back of your mind. Once it's done, your mind clears. Your focus sharpens. Your energy returns. That's not just productivity. That's self-respect. You start to trust yourself again. You start to believe that when something matters, you will handle it. That belief carries over into everything else in your life. The people who grow the fastest are not the ones who have perfect plans. They're the ones who stop avoiding what's hard. They lean into it. They treat it like a responsibility. Not something to fear, but something to finish. And that mindset changes everything. You stop running. You stop hiding. You start showing up. You start building progress that lasts. Avoidance doesn't just delay your goals, it damages your mindset. It teaches you to back down from challenge. It builds a habit of escape. And the more you escape, the more stuck you feel. The weight increases, the self-doubt increases. You begin to think something's wrong with you. But there's nothing wrong with you. You're just stuck in a loop that breaks the moment you stop waiting. There is a freedom that comes with doing the thing you fear. It's not just about results. It's about how you feel about yourself. You feel grounded. You feel real. You feel like someone who's actually showing up in their own life. That's what matters. Not perfection. Not outcome. But action. Real, honest, uncomfortable action. Look at your day. Look at the things you keep avoiding. They're not going anywhere. They'll wait for you. They'll grow heavier. Or you can face them. You can take control. You can prove to yourself that discomfort will not decide your future. You can move forward, even if it's 1 inch at a time. And you don't have to feel strong to do it. You just have to be willing. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's action. In the presence of fear, you don't need to wait to feel fearless. That day may never come. What you need is to act in spite of the fear. That's how you rise. That's how you earn confidence. Through action, not thought. People spend their whole lives running from themselves. They build habits around avoidance. They make excuses sound like logic. But deep down they know. They know what they've been putting off, and they know it won't get better until they face it. That moment when you stop running is when your real life begins. You want to feel proud. You want to feel capable. Then do the thing you've been putting off, not for anyone else, for you. Because your life is your responsibility. And that responsibility includes facing what's hard, not just doing what's easy. If you only move when it feels safe, you'll stay in the same place forever. You can't grow without challenge. You can't get stronger without resistance. Avoiding discomfort is avoiding growth. So don't avoid it. Step into it. Own it. Use it. Let it build you, because everything you want is on the other side of that action you've been avoiding. This is not about hustle. This is about being honest. Honest about the fact that you've waited long enough. Honest about what needs to change. Honest about what you've been dodging, and then doing something about it. Not later. Not when it feels easier. Now. There's power in now. There's freedom in now. There's clarity in now, but you'll never feel that if you keep postponing what you know needs to be done. The more you wait, the more chances you miss. The more you avoid, the more your self-trust fades. But every action you take, no matter how small, rebuilds that trust. Start reclaiming your time. Start cleaning up the loose ends. Start walking straight into the things you once avoided, and you'll notice something shift. You'll feel more capable. You'll feel more alive, not because everything is perfect, but because you're finally in motion. You're not stuck. You're not broken. You're just avoiding what matters. Face it. Do it. Stop waiting and start doing what you avoid, because every second counts. Use it or lose it.
Chapter 6. Give your goals time instead of your excuses. Everyone says they want more in life, more success, more freedom, more growth, more peace. But when you look at how they spend their time, you start to see the truth. People give their time to distractions, to comfort, to stories they keep repeating in their heads about why they can't, why it's hard, or why they're not ready. And very few are actually giving their time to their goals. Time is the most honest measure of what you value. You can say anything, but your schedule tells the truth. If your goals matter, they need to be given space in your day. Not someday, not when everything feels perfect, but now. They need real time, focused time, before everything else swallows up your day. It doesn't need to be hours and hours. It just needs to be consistent. You can move your life forward in small blocks of time if those blocks are protected and used with purpose. Excuses are easy because they feel true. They sound like logic. They come dressed up as reasonable thoughts. I've been tired lately. I need more clarity. I'll start next week. But behind every excuse is a choice to delay, a choice to hide, a choice to protect your current comfort instead of building your future strength. Your goals aren't waiting for you to feel perfect. They're waiting for you to get honest. You're not short on time. You're giving too much of it to the wrong things. You give it to overthinking. You give it to scrolling. You give it to worries that don't push you forward. And at the end of the day, your goals are left with what's left over, if anything at all. That's the pattern most people live in. They survive the day, then say they didn't have time for their dreams. But it wasn't about time, it was about priority. You have to flip that. You have to give your goals time before your excuses get a chance to speak. If you don't schedule time for your goals, your mind will schedule time for your doubts. You can't live in both places. You either build or you delay. You either rise or you stay where you are, and no one else can make that decision for you. Most excuses don't sound like excuses. They sound like facts. I'm too busy. I don't know where to start. I have too much going on right now. But if you zoom out, you start to see a deeper pattern. These aren't new thoughts. They've been with you for years. The words may change, but the effect is always the same. You wait, you hesitate, you make goals feel like some distant reward for the future version of yourself that doesn't exist yet. That version of you only shows up when you start showing up, not when you make more money, not when you have more free time,
But when you decide that your excuses will no longer lead your life, you don't have to eliminate every excuse. You just need to stop listening to them long enough to take action. Excuses don't disappear on their own. You have to drown them out with movement. Start by making time, real time, for what matters to you. Don't try to overhaul your whole life in one day. Just protect 30 minutes. Just lock in 1 hour. Put it on your calendar like it's an appointment with your future. And keep it. Don't skip it. Don't move it. Show up for that time like it's non-negotiable. That one act changes everything. You're telling your mind, I show up for what I care about. And once you do that, you'll feel something shift. You'll feel the noise start to quiet down. You'll feel less guilt and more direction, because you're no longer running in circles. You're building, not fast, not perfect, but real. And that's what moves your life forward. Consistent, honest time spent doing what matters. The kind of time most people say they don't have, but somehow find for everything else. The truth is, you don't need a better strategy. You need better follow-through, and follow-through lives on your calendar. If it's not scheduled, it's not serious. Don't keep your goals in your mind. Bring them into your daily routine. Make space for them. Build rituals around them. You don't need to do everything today, but you do need to do something today. Excuses come from the same part of the mind that wants to protect you. They're not evil, they're just misdirected. Your mind tries to keep you safe by keeping you still. It thinks discomfort is danger, but staying still is its own danger. It costs you your potential. It keeps you stuck in cycles you know aren't helping you. If you want to change, you have to be okay being uncomfortable. You have to get used to showing up even when your mind gives you 10 reasons not to. You don't need more motivation. You need a system. A system that gives your goals a place to live every day. That might mean waking up earlier. That might mean cutting time from something else. That might mean turning off your phone. But that sacrifice is worth it, because your excuses won't build you, but your actions will. And the more you give your goals real space, the more they begin to grow. You'll notice your thinking change. You'll notice your energy shift, not because you're working harder, but because you're working with purpose. Purpose creates power. It gives your effort meaning. It turns routine into progress, but only if you give it time to work. Think about all the time you've spent explaining why now isn't the right time. All the hours used justifying delay. All the mental energy spent defending your reason. Now imagine if even half that time had been used building something, practicing something, moving forward. You'd be in a different place right now, and that's not a reason to feel bad. That's a reason to change. You can't change yesterday, but you can change what you do with today. Today is the only time you control, not tomorrow, not next week. And every time you choose to let an excuse win, you trade that time for regret. But every time you choose to give your goals time, you build the life you keep saying you want. It's that simple. Not easy, but simple. And it starts now. Not with a big overwhelming plan, but with one clear choice. Give your time to your goals, not your excuses. Let your actions reflect your values. Let your time reflect your priorities. You don't need more hours in the day. You need to take back the ones you've been giving away. Use them for something that builds you. Something that pushes you forward. Something that means something to you. Because every excuse has an expiration. At some point you have to stop telling yourself the same story and write a new one. And that new story starts with how you spend your time. Not how much you want it, not how badly you dream it, but how you schedule it, how you protect it, how you act on it. There's no secret, there's no shortcut. The ones who build meaningful lives are the ones who treat their time like it matters, the ones who stop negotiating with excuses and start committing to action. That's the truth. It's not complicated, but it is rare. Be the rare one. Be the person who doesn't just wish but works, who doesn't just plan, but performs, who doesn't just talk but takes action. Because every second counts, and if you're not giving your time to your goals, your excuses will happily take it. Use your time. Use it wisely. Use it now. Because you don't get this moment again. Give your goals time instead of your excuses. Because every second counts. Use it, or lose it.
Chapter 7. Protect your attention like your future depends on it. Your attention is the foundation of your entire life. What you focus on, what you think about, what you give your time to, it all begins with attention. And yet, most people don't treat it with care. They allow the world to grab it, pull it, divide it, and exhaust it. They give it away without thinking. They let their phones take it. They let distractions steal it. And they wonder why their goals never get done, why they feel stressed, why they struggle to stay consistent. It's not that they can't focus, it's that they don't protect what matters most. If you don't guard your attention, you'll lose your direction. You'll start every day with good intentions and end it wondering where your energy went. You'll feel busy but not productive. You'll scroll through endless noise and still feel empty. You'll start 10 things and finish none. That's the cost of unprotected attention. It creates mental chaos, and that chaos becomes the background of your life if you don't step in and take control. Your future is shaped by what you give your attention to every single day, not what you say you care about. Not what you plan to do someday, but what you actually focus on when it matters. Your attention decides what you notice, what you think, what you believe, and what you act on. It becomes the lens you see your world through. That lens can be clear or cloudy, focused or scattered, sharp or fogged by everything that doesn't matter. You have to stop treating your attention like it's endless. It's not. It runs out. You only have so much mental energy in a day. Every time you check a notification, open another tab, jump from one task to the next, you're spending energy. You're cutting into the limited focus you need to do meaningful work. And once it's gone, it doesn't come back until you rest, reset, and refocus. That's why attention needs to be treated like your most valuable resource, because it is. You wouldn't leave your front door open and let strangers walk into your home, but that's what people do with their attention all day long. They leave it unguarded. They let everyone in. Ads, alerts, headlines, opinions, distractions, they all walk in and take up space. And the more crowded your attention becomes, the harder it is to hear your own thoughts. You lose touch with your priorities. You start reacting instead of leading. If you want to get serious about your future, get serious about what gets your focus. Start noticing where your attention goes when you're not thinking. Where does your mind drift? What do you reach for out of habit? What steals your time without giving anything back? These are not small questions. They're the difference between building a life and watching it slip away. Attention management is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters without distraction. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be aware. Build a routine that supports focus. Turn off what pulls you away. Stop starting your day with noise. Protect your mornings like they set the tone, because they do. Start small. 1 hour without distractions. 1 block of time with full focus. 1 task done with care instead of half effort. These small acts compound. They create progress. They build confidence,
And most of all, they remind you that you are in control. Start designing your environment to support your goals. If your phone distracts you, put it away. If your workspace is chaotic, clean it. If you lose time in meaningless conversations, distance yourself, not because you're cold, because you're focused. Because your future matters enough to protect it. Not everyone will understand that, but the people who are building something worth building, they'll understand completely. Most people think they have a motivation problem. What they really have is an attention problem. Their energy is scattered. Their days are interrupted. Their minds are overstimulated. And no amount of motivation can survive in a brain that never gets time to breathe. You need stillness. You need structure. You need space to think. That's how you get clarity. That's how you get things done. Your brain is not built to multitask well. Jumping from one thing to the next feels like progress, but it's just movement, not momentum. Real progress comes when you focus fully on one thing at a time. When you give your energy to it completely. That's how you make something meaningful. That's how you finish what you start. Guarding your attention means setting boundaries. It means saying no more often. It means choosing silence over noise, deep work over shallow tasks, intentional rest over endless stimulation. It means designing your life so that what matters gets your best, not your leftovers. And that's not easy. The world is built to grab your attention. Every platform, every headline, every click, it's all designed to pull you in. If you're not careful, you'll spend your whole day chasing things that do nothing for your life. That's why awareness is the first step. You can't protect what you don't notice. Track your time. Notice when your focus drops. Look at what triggers distraction. Then rebuild your day around focus, not perfection. Focus. Train your mind like a muscle. The more you practice attention, the stronger it gets, and the stronger it gets, the more you achieve. The more peace you feel, the more clarity you carry. When your attention is sharp, your decisions improve. Your work improves. Your confidence grows, not because you suddenly became smarter, but because you finally stopped leaking energy everywhere. You started directing it. You started using it like the gift it is. That kind of discipline changes everything. It turns chaos into structure. It turns doubt into clarity. It turns your future into something you can actually see and work toward. You don't need more apps. You don't need more time hacks. You need less noise. You need fewer distractions. You need space to focus on what you said matters. Stop making room for things that pull you away from the life you're trying to build. Make your focus more important than your notifications. Make your peace more important than other people's urgency. Make your future more important than temporary comfort. This takes effort. It takes practice. But it's worth it. Because when your attention is protected, your mind becomes powerful. You stop chasing everything and start creating something. You stop reacting and start responding with intention. That's what strong people do. They don't let the world dictate their focus. They choose it, and they defend it like it matters. Because it does. Every time you protect your attention, you're telling yourself, I value my time. I value my future. I'm not here to waste it. That message sinks deep. It becomes a mindset, a lifestyle, and it builds momentum faster than anything else. So look around. Pay attention to what's getting your attention. Not everything deserves it. Not everything earns it. Start treating your attention like your life depends on it, because your future absolutely does. Every goal, every change, every breakthrough, it all starts with what you focus on today. Don't wait until you burn out. Don't wait until you feel behind. Take control now. Choose what gets your time. Protect what matters. Because once your attention is gone, so is your day. And if you lose too many days, you lose the progress that was waiting for you. You've worked too hard to be pulled in every direction. You've come too far to let noise run your life. Now is the time to reclaim your focus, to protect your attention like your future depends on it. Because every second counts. Use it or lose it.
Chapter 8. Do what grows you even when it's hard. Growth is not a comfortable process. It's not something you stumble into without effort. It happens in moments that challenge you, stretch you, and push you to deal with what you would rather avoid. Most people say they want to grow, but they only mean it when it feels easy. They want the results without the pressure. They want the reward without the hard parts. But growth doesn't work that way. It shows up when you do what's hard, when you do what requires more from you than you feel like giving. Doing what grows you isn't always exciting. It won't always give you fast results. Sometimes it feels like you're moving through resistance with no guarantee of progress. Sometimes it feels like silence, like no one sees the effort, like you're alone in your discipline. And that's exactly why it works. Because growth is not about external validation. It's about who you become when you push through what you thought would break you. Most of the time, people avoid the very thing that would help them level up. They know what they need to do. They feel the pull to do it. But when the discomfort shows up, they back off. They say, "It's too much right now," or "I'll wait until I feel better." But waiting for ease is what keeps people stuck. If you only move when it's easy, you'll live the same year again and again and call it a life. The real shift happens when you take action during resistance, not after it fades. Think about the strongest moments in your life. The moments that shaped your thinking, that gave you a new kind of self-respect. They weren't the easy days. They were the hard ones. The ones you had to dig through. The ones that tested your commitment. And you made it through them, not because you felt ready, but because you did what needed to be done. You didn't let the challenge stop you. You used it. Doing what grows you means doing the uncomfortable work. It means showing up when your motivation is gone. It means practicing when you're tired, saying no when it's inconvenient, holding yourself to your own standards when no one else is watching. It's not glamorous, it's not fun, but it changes everything. It makes you mentally stronger, emotionally clearer, and far more capable than the average person who only acts when conditions are perfect. You don't need more inspiration. You need more discipline in the moments when it's hardest. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's about consistency with purpose. It's about doing the work when the feeling is gone, because the goal still matters. The more you train yourself to act during discomfort, the more power you take back from your excuse. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you strengthen the part of you that's responsible for building your future. And that part of you grows quiet when you keep choosing the easier path. It stops believing you're serious. It starts fading. But every time you take the hard route, even just a little, that part of you wakes up. It sees you trying. It learns to trust you again. That's how you rebuild your identity from action, not from ideas. You don't get better by accident. You get better by effort, and not random effort. Deliberate effort in the things that push your limits. That might mean starting a habit that stretches your time. It might mean cutting out things that make you feel good in the short term, but weaken your focus in the long term. It might mean having honest conversations, facing fears, or building new skills when the old ones feel safe. Whatever it is, you already know it. You've already felt it. It's the thing in the back of your mind that keeps coming up. The one you keep brushing off because it feels heavy. But avoiding hard things doesn't make life easier. It just makes you weaker.
You start to lose belief in your ability to change. You begin to shrink from discomfort, and slowly, you trade growth for safety. But safety doesn't build anything. It doesn't sharpen your thinking. It doesn't increase your confidence. It just gives you the illusion of control while life passes by. The people who grow the fastest aren't the ones with perfect circumstances. They're the ones who do the hard thing anyway. They fail, they get frustrated, but they keep going. They choose progress over pride. They don't pretend it's easy. They just show up for the work, and that's what separates those who evolve from those who repeat the same patterns for years. There will be days when you don't feel like doing anything, days when your energy is low, your mind is scattered, and your goals feel far away. Those are the days that matter most. Those are the days when your choices count double. Because anyone can act when it's easy. But very few will act when it's hard, and they're the ones who become leaders, creators, builders, not because they're better, but because they trained themselves to keep going. You don't need to conquer everything in one day. You just need to show up today and do the one thing that stretches you. Maybe it's starting earlier. Maybe it's finishing what you started. Maybe it's cutting the distractions, pushing through the boredom, or choosing honesty over comfort. Whatever it is, it won't be easy. But it will grow you. There's no rule that says growth has to feel good. Most of the time it won't. It will feel heavy, awkward, slow and uncomfortable. But when you stay with it, something shifts. Your tolerance for pressure grows. Your ability to stay focused sharpens. Your mind stops making excuses and starts looking for ways to keep going. That's how growth works. Quiet, internal, steady. Every hard thing you avoid becomes a block in your path. But every hard thing you face becomes a building block for the life you're trying to create. Start stacking those blocks, one action at a time, one choice at a time. It adds up, and the more you practice this, the less fear you feel around pressure. You start to trust yourself under stress. You stop panicking when things get tough, because you've trained for it. You don't rise by avoiding pressure. You rise by learning how to walk through it without quitting. That mindset changes how you show up everywhere, in your work, in your relationships, in your self-respect. You stop looking for the easy way. You start asking, what's the right way? And more often than not, the right way is the one that requires more from you. The reward is not just in the outcome, it's in who you become during the process. You become someone who doesn't back down, someone who doesn't fold when things get hard, someone who can count on themselves, no matter what. That kind of inner strength is rare, and it only comes from doing what most people avoid. You'll never regret the time you spent doing the hard thing. You'll never look back and wish you had stayed comfortable longer. What you'll remember are the moments you chose growth. The days you pushed through, the times you faced yourself honestly and acted anyway. Those moments define you. You get one life, one chance to build something meaningful. Don't waste it waiting for it to feel easy. Step into the pressure. Push through the resistance. Do what grows you even when it's hard. Peace. That's where the real change begins. And that's how you become the person you're meant to be. Every second matters. Every choice shapes your path. Don't give your time to comfort. Give it to growth. Use it to do the hard things that lead you forward. Because every second counts. Use it or lose it.
Chapter 9. Choose effort over comfort every single day. Every single day, you face a decision that shapes who you become. It's not a loud decision. It doesn't always feel dramatic. But it's powerful. It's the choice between effort and comfort. One moves you forward. The other keeps you exactly where you are. Most people don't even realize they're making this decision.
It happens the moment they hit snooze instead of getting up. It happens when they avoid what's hard and choose what feels easy. It happens in the little moments that add up to the life they live. Effort demands something from you. It asks for focus, discipline, patience, and energy. It pulls you away from distractions. It forces you to be present. It calls you to do things that stretch you. Comfort, on the other hand, asks for nothing but your attention. It wants you to stay still. It offers you short-term ease in exchange for long-term growth. And the trap is that comfort feels good right now, but it never leads to anything meaningful. You don't get stronger by doing what's easy. You get stronger by choosing the harder road when it's tempting to stay in place. Growth always asks for more than convenience. It requires consistency when it's boring. It asks you to act when you'd rather rest. It pushes you to care when it would be simpler to check out. And that's what makes the difference. Not talent, not motivation, but the willingness to choose effort when no one's forcing you. Every breakthrough you've ever wanted lives on the other side of consistent effort. Not once in a while, not when you feel inspired, every day. The days you feel tired, the days you don't feel like showing up, the days when no one's watching and it would be so easy to take the shortcut. That's when it counts the most. Because that's when habits are built. That's when identity is shaped. You don't build discipline by talking about your goals. You build it by showing up for them, especially when it's uncomfortable. Discipline is not about being hard on yourself. It's about staying loyal to what you said you would do. It's about showing your future that you take it seriously. Comfort doesn't care about your goals. It only cares about making the moment feel easy. Effort, though, it builds something. It builds confidence. It builds momentum. It builds a version of you that you can rely on. Look at the people who are doing something meaningful. They don't have easier lives. They've just trained themselves to choose effort, even when it's not convenient. They've practiced the art of doing the things that most people delay. They've learned how to manage resistance. Not avoid it. Manage it. Because it never fully goes away. Even the most disciplined people feel the pull of comfort. The difference is they don't listen to it. You might think you need more time, or more resources, or more clarity. But often what you really need is more commitment to effort. You need to stop negotiating with yourself every time a task gets hard. You need to stop waiting for the perfect mood. You need to stop chasing ease and start building consistency. Even small actions, when done with effort, compound into something real. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stop quitting when it gets hard. Most people start strong, but fade when the work demands more. They expect growth to feel exciting all the time, but the real work is often repetitive, quiet and slow. It's not glamorous. It's not always fun, but it's where change actually happens. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled with comfort. It's filled with effort, daily effort, real effort, and that effort is available to you right now. Comfort will try to convince you that rest is what you need. And sometimes, yes, rest is necessary, but most of the time, comfort is just disguised procrastination. It's you pulling back from what would move you forward. You don't need to grind yourself into the ground, but you do need to stay honest about when you're resting, to recover, and when you're resting to escape. One builds you, the other drains you. You gain nothing from choosing ease over and over again. In fact, you lose trust in yourself. You feel it, that low energy, that quiet frustration, that voice that says, I could be doing more. That's not guilt, that's your potential knocking. That's your mind reminding you that you're capable of more than comfort allows. If you want a different life, you have to make different choices, not dramatic ones. Daily ones. Wake up and choose to move your body when you'd rather stay in bed. Choose to finish the task when your mind wants to scroll. Choose to plan your day when chaos seems easier. Choose to speak truth when silence would feel safer. These choices feel small in the moment, but they add up. They create a mindset that doesn't back down. You have to train your brain to value effort more than ease. That means celebrating the days you pushed through. That means reminding yourself that doing the hard thing is the point. That means measuring your success, not just by what you finished, but by what you didn't avoid. Because avoidance is what steals most people's progress. It's not failure that holds them back. It's the daily decision to stay comfortable. You weren't made to stay where it feels easy. You were built to expand, to stretch, to build. And that happens only through effort. Effort sharpens your thinking. It strengthens your character. It teaches you what you're capable of. But it requires that you stop chasing what feels good and start doing what's necessary. You're not here to drift through your days. You're here to build something that matters. That might be your mindset, your work, your health, your relationships. Whatever it is, it demands your attention. It demands your presence. And it demands your effort, especially when it's tempting to let it slide. You don't need a better opportunity. You need better execution. The chance is already in front of you. The question is, what are you doing with it? Are you giving your best, or are you giving your comfort the final say? You know the answer, and that answer tells you everything about where you're heading. Choosing effort doesn't mean burning out. It means engaging with your life. It means taking responsibility for what you want. It means saying yes to growth even when it's quiet and slow and unrecognized. That kind of effort doesn't just change your results. It changes how you see yourself. You become someone you respect, someone you trust, someone who does what needs to be done, not just when it's fun, but especially when it's not. That's where real strength is born. Not in the easy wins, but in the hard choices. The ones that test you, the ones that demand your focus, the ones that make you a little uncomfortable. That discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's a sign that you're doing something important, something that matters, something that moves you forward. You're not here to live the same day over and over again. You're not here to settle for the easiest route. You're here to challenge yourself, to face resistance with intention, to give your energy to things that build you, not just entertain you. And that starts today, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. Today, start with one thing, one choice, one effort. Make it count, make it real. Let it be the beginning of a new standard where comfort no longer runs your life. A standard where effort is the rule, not the exception. A standard that says, I choose progress. I choose action. I choose growth. Every time you choose effort over comfort, you're building the life you keep saying you want. Every time you choose action over ease, you're writing a story you'll be proud to read back. Don't wait. Don't negotiate. Don't water down your goals just to feel safe. Step up. Show up. Put in the work, because every second counts. Use it or lose it.
Chapter 10. Treat your time like it's running out now. Time isn't waiting for you. It doesn't care about your mood, your stress, your distractions, or your plans to start next week. It keeps moving, minute by minute, without stopping. And one day, whether you're ready or not, you'll look back and wonder where it all went. That's why it's not enough to think about your time. You have to treat it like it's running out, because it is. And pretending it isn't is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. People talk about priorities. They talk about goals, about dreams, about things they want to do. But when you look at their daily lives, you see hesitation. You see long hours spent on things that add no real value.
You see distractions, escapes, habits that consume time like it doesn't matter. They don't realize they're spending their life in small, careless ways until it's too late, until they can't get it back. You don't need to live in fear, but you do need to wake up. Time is not a guarantee. You don't know how much you have left. You don't know what's coming. All you have is now, this day, this moment. And how you use it will shape everything else. You take control of it, or it takes control of you. The most successful people you admire, the ones who build meaningful lives, they live with urgency, not panic, not stress, but urgency. They know they don't get forever, so they use their time like it matters. They put energy where it counts. They remove things that waste their focus. They say no often. They choose what gets their time with purpose. And they don't apologize for it. If you treat your time like it's endless, you'll waste it on things that don't push you forward. You'll scroll more than you act. You'll delay more than you move. You'll fill your day with distractions and call it a full life. But fullness isn't about being busy. It's about being aligned. Are your hours going toward the things that matter to you, or are they just keeping you occupied? People waste time waiting for the right moment. They wait for motivation, for support, for a better mood. But the longer you wait, the faster your life passes by. The people who make the most of their time aren't waiting. They're acting, even when they're scared, even when they're tired, even when it's not perfect. Because they know that progress doesn't come from delay. It comes from doing what needs to be done now. Every day you wake up is a gift, but it's also a test. What will you do with it? Will you protect it? Will you make it count? Or will you let it slip into routine, into comfort, into habits that pull you further from the life you want? It's your call. No one's going to force you, but life will respond to your choices, and so will your results. You have to stop saying yes to things that steal your time. You have to stop giving energy to things that don't move you forward. That means cutting distractions, setting boundaries, and choosing work over excuses. That means using your mornings with purpose, not just rushing through them. That means making time for the things you say are important, not just talking about them. Because what you say doesn't matter if your calendar doesn't back it up. Your life is not going to slow down for you to catch up. If anything, it moves faster. And the older you get, the clearer that becomes. That's why you have to take control now. You have to decide what your time is worth. And then treat every hour like it matters. Because once it's gone, it doesn't come back. Think about the last 5 days of your life. How many of those hours were used with intention? How many moved you closer to your goals, to your growth, to your best self? And how many were lost to things that don't matter anymore? Things that never did. Be honest. That awareness alone can change everything. The people who waste the most time are usually the ones who think they have the most of it. But the truth is, we all have less than we think. So the question becomes, if your time really was running out, would you still be spending it this way? Would you still be giving it to the same things, the same habits, the same people, the same excuses? When you treat your time like it's running out, you stop negotiating with laziness. You stop letting distractions win. You stop accepting days with no direction. You become intentional. You become clear. You become focused. That focus builds momentum. That momentum creates results. And those results start to change your entire life. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have every hour scheduled. But you do need to care. You need to stop giving your best hours to things that give you nothing in return. You need to stop treating your time like a discount item you can toss away. This is your life. This is your shot. And it deserves more than what most people give it. You might not be able to control everything, but you can control what you give your attention to. You can decide what gets your time. You can choose to stop wasting minutes on things that leave you drained and start using them for things that make you proud. That power is always in your hands. Even if you start small, it counts. 15 minutes of focused effort. 1 hour of deep work. Saying no to something that drains you. Saying yes to something that moves you forward. These small choices, repeated, shape your future. They build your habits. They define who you are. Don't wait for a crisis to remind you that time is short. Don't wait for loss to teach you what matters. Learn it now. Live it now. Make every day mean something. Not because you're in a rush, but because you're aware. Aware that you're not promised more time. Aware that this moment matters more than you think. Aware that what you do today decides who you become tomorrow. There's no benefit in acting like you have forever. That thinking kills urgency. It delays your goals. It makes you soft. It keeps you stuck. The people who rise, the ones who lead, the ones who build, they don't waste time pretending it doesn't matter. They treat it like gold. They invest it. They protect it. They give it to what builds them, not what numbs them. This isn't about fear. It's about responsibility, about taking ownership of your life, about realizing that every second is a chance to become better, stronger, more focused. And if you don't take that chance, someone else will. Someone else is out there, using their time to build what you keep putting off. That's not competition. That's reality. You get what you work for. You keep what you protect. So ask yourself, what are you really doing with your time? Not what you tell people. Not what you plan. What are you doing? Is it aligned with who you want to be? Is it pushing you forward or keeping you still? Is it building you up or breaking your focus? These questions are not meant to make you feel bad. They're meant to wake you up. Because one day, you'll wish you started sooner. You'll wish you took it more seriously. You'll wish you took it more seriously. You'll wish you didn't waste so many hours trying to feel ready. So do yourself a favor. Treat your time like it's running out. Because one day, it will. And the only thing you'll have left is what you did with it. Make it count. Make it yours. Make it worth something. Because every second matters. Every second builds or breaks your future. And it's not someone else's job to remind you of that. It's yours. Take ownership. Take action. Because every second counts. Use it or lose.